All right. I wanted to come on yet again to do a general collective reading. This is not necessarily love focused, but just whatever wants to come out in the cards today. So let's get into it. And I'm feeling drawn to, what is this deck called? Shoot. Something water, I think. Sacred Sea Oracle. Ooh, sorry guys. All right. This is a general collective reading for whoever needs it. I feel like doing a Starseed reading for whatever reason, but we'll see how this goes. I'm open. Maybe somebody here identifies as a star seed, or you just have that energy and you don't know it. All right, let's see what wants to come through. We have number 10, Whale Gatekeeper. Innate, infinite wisdom. Yes. So somebody here is a wisdom seeker. Somebody here delves into the trenches to look for knowledge, more specifically, uncommon knowledge. This is, maybe you're really into just conspiracy theories. Doesn't necessarily have to be that specifically. Um, but, topics that may come up as quote unquote conspiracy theories, right? Um, Things that are a bit more taboo. You're really interested in that. And you feel like, I know, there has to be some truth here, right? I'm hearing a grain of truth in the sand. Which, good luck for most people, right? Because, man, amount of sand just like at the beach that you'd be having to look through just to find that one grain of truth is definitely a task. But you feel like it's deeply important. Okay, that's who I'm connecting with, or maybe that's the collective group. Anyways, we're going to continue going here, and I do actually feel called to pull from my Beetlejuice deck. So I don't know what that's about. That's not what I was going to go for at first, but it's what I felt called to grab. So okay, what else? The Queen of Swords in the reverse. So there's definitely somebody here that likes to figure people out, or try to, you know. This is, I am judging. I am judging, low key, or I'm trying to be low key about it. Maybe you're amused when people over exaggerate, or you're amused when people are delusional, or when you catch them in a lie, or how people move. It's kind of interesting here. But you're definitely more self-assured in yourself. At least that is your perception of yourself. We have the Five of Cups in the reverse. I think as a kid, your parents probably had a difficult time trying to figure you out. I think you were too smart for them, too quick, too clever, um, for them to really grasp what your agenda was. Um, so that's kind of what I'm feeling here. They were like really confused. And again, you may have been really amused by all of this. Probably still are. We have the Three of Cups. I do feel like you've grown up. This is somebody that is much older now, like maybe you're, you know, maybe in your 30s or 40s, or maybe, maybe even 50s. Just, just take what resonates here. But I do feel like you've grown a lot since this time. This is not somebody that's watching that's like 16, 17. You know what I mean? This is somebody that has, you know, experienced the ups and downs of their 20s, um, for example. And I feel like to this day, you're seen by your parents as somebody that they don't understand. And you're not a very traditional type of person. You know, I feel like your opinions have always kind of rubbed people the wrong way. You've always had your own mind about things. Um, and you never like to be predictable. We have the Five of Wands here. I'll be honest, maybe love has never been your strong suit. Um, maybe there have been ego battles in love. Maybe there have been game playing in love. But there's definitely been pain and betrayal in regards to love. Someone here specifically, that only take this if it resonates, right, may have quite literally had their partner um, killed or murdered. Doesn't necessarily have to be, okay? Um, but there's this energy of you being really shocked that your partner has been kind of stripped away from you, or just things aren't what they were supposed to be. Let me clarify with your partner. Let me clarify the Five of Wands here. Because I feel like you were in a partnership, but you ended up single somehow. Okay. So, like when you go over, for instance, like family dinners or family get togethers here, it's like you're not in a partnership. Or even if you decide to bring someone, it's not someone that you're seriously considering marriage, or somebody that you're like, yeah, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. This is the man or woman of the moment, and this is just kind of where I'm at. um we have the Chariots in the reverse. For some of you, maybe your spouse or your partner wasn't necessarily killed or murdered, but this is sad to say, but maybe some of them even committed suicide or died by suicide here. Okay. Four Swords in reverse. Yeah, this is a love that was very unsteady. All right, that is something that I'm feeling here. This is you guys provided each other with warmth and just companionship, but it was not at all an easy relationship. There were a lot of fights, a lot of misunderstandings. you guys felt really different from each other. I feel like they didn't really understand you, and maybe you thought this person was a blockhead and that they lacked some kind of depth to them, you know, but they were stable on some level, or they provided you a sense of stability and maybe even safety to a degree. But what this person I feel like didn't really tell you is how much they were really suffering inside. This person was suffering in silence. This person I feel like didn't really know how to cope with these painful feelings. I feel like they became painfully overwhelming, and I feel like this person would get overstimulated really easily. This person may have been on the spectrum and may have not even known it. You may not have even known it, but maybe suspected, you know, especially like, some of your more harsher thoughts with the Queen of Swords in reverse was here. It could have been like, wow, this guy or gal is like kind of slow, kind of on the slower side. Let's be real. Somebody here likes to pull out insults out of their hat. Somebody here, the Queen of Swords has a sharp tongue, you know? She's witty, but boy, can those comebacks really stab you, really, in the heart. you know? They're not easy to hear for a lot of people. They're very triggering. And I feel like that was you in this connection. So let's see. Maybe this was your past situation here. Let's see where you are now. Okay. We have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Your spirit is still the same. That hasn't changed. It's like you're still you, although you may feel like you don't recognize you in the mirror these days anymore, right? That's kind of where we're at. We have Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Somebody here may have I'm gonna say this, I cannot diagnose anyone, obviously. Like, I am just somebody that just reads energy. So please, if you're feeling mentally unstable and you feel like you just need help, or you feel like you have something but never been diagnosed with anything, please go seek professional help from a licensed psychologist that can perform assessments, or at the very least, maybe a counselor or a therapist so you can talk to somebody if you haven't already. But this is somebody that may have like, like borderline personality. You know what I mean? I'm just going to say BPD for short. Somebody here may have that, or maybe you're on the spectrum here. But I feel like someone's thoughts go from one extreme to the other. And I think that you've dealt with this for so long. And, this is somebody that has a high IQ. I feel like you always have had a high IQ. And that's probably one of the reasons why it's really hard for you to just go to any therapist or any psychologist, maybe even if you've already seen one. Because oftentimes you've probably outsmarted the person that's doing your assessments, right? Maybe you kind of pick up on their mannerisms, and you already know what they're about to say before it even comes out of their mouth. And so basically, they don't know it, but you're telling them about, it's like you're feeding them information about you so you get the diagnosis that you thought you were going to get all along. Is kind of the vibes I'm feeling. It's like you're manipulating the situation. because you already know how this is going to work out and you know that the other person doesn't really know you. And so that's really what I'm getting here. Okay. And so, like in the past, even though you probably have gotten help or talked to people, um, you haven't really been able to get the help that you really needed. Um, you were able to find a way to cope with these symptoms, though. Um, sure, you may acknowledge that you still feel the weight of feeling both extremes and feeling really unsettled and suffering, in relationships and getting angry at your partner and, ego battles and all these different things, right? But you found a way to survive. You found a way to kind of pull yourself back. And this is through your intellect. That is definitely a strength. And so, let's see, V. Sale, if you have the time, could I ask a question? Yes, V. Absolutely. Um, okay. Um, let's see, where was I? Yes. But you have a heart. Somebody here, like whoever's resonating with this, you still have a heart. You still long for intimacy. It's just that you know that you have been prone to really, really royally sabotaging connections in the past, but you've tried and you've tried. Um, hmm. So I feel like, these days you may just keep your distance from people, maybe just lightly associating through, you know, witty banter. um, yeah. Okay. Well, what do you need to know? What do you need to know? Like, why is that important here? Yeah, basically, you get in your own way. It's like no one can really, um, it's like other people's, when they poke at you, it's like that's dull in comparison to how badly you can just stab yourself with your own sword, you know, with your own thoughts. And these are really shocking thoughts. And like you really feel them. You really feel them at your core, you know. All right, what do you need to know? Like, why is this coming up for somebody here? Okay, two cards are standing out to me here, okay? We have Hod, left leg, submission, and we have Azrael, angel of death. Something here about a mother is coming through. I don't know. Could be a mother figure. Maybe it's your own mother. Maybe your mother has always like lectured you about something here. Um, or maybe you've always been in conflict with your mother. Maybe you guys never really saw eye to eye. We did kind of see that a little earlier, like your parents or your immediate family or whoever raised you, your guardians, like they didn't understand what you were up to. I feel like, okay, you may have adopted this, whatever this is, who you are, you've adopted some of this shadow from your mother's line, your mother's lineage, or maybe just from your mom. Okay. Usually it's both. Um, I feel like this is more of like a generational thing, to be honest. I think your mom or a mother figure had a huge shadow within them. I feel like this person was never really happy with themselves. Maybe your mother was always overcritical of you. Maybe deep down, um, there was a lot of hatred here. You know, have you ever met those people where or mothers where they hated themselves so much that they also hated their own spitting image? Like they hated their children because it just reminded them so much of themselves, you know? I kind of feel that way here, to where this mother figure may have seen herself in you. And here you are. You're coming out as this card here. You've managed, right? You've probably been able to deflect maybe some of the insults that were thrown at you, or maybe just energetically feeling this way. Like if your mom was very like dismissive and it seemed like they never really paid much attention to you, or you just felt like your mom just had a really big like shroud over her and that she had her back kind of turned towards you, even if it wasn't very literal, it's just energetically like I feel like you observed that, and I think you did want her approval. You did want her nurturing, loving energy that a mother is supposed to give you or supposed to give their child. But you were deeply, deeply wounded because that's exactly what you did not receive from this mother figure here. And because of that, you developed your own shadow, you know? It kind of, in its own way, became as big as this mother figure is here. But you were able to dance around her. Again, I do feel like there's something to be said about um your wittiness here. Like you're very quick. And although your mother could be very harsh and her comments could also be very harsh and cut deep, and I just feel like you were able to outsmart her. Yeah, this is kind of where it's coming from here, these unhealed wounds from this lack of nurturing at a young age, from more from your mother's line or the mother's lineage, or from a mother like figure. That's something that I'm getting here. Okay. And you needing to, that's a lot of work. Honestly, this is a lot of work to heal this. Because I also feel like you've embraced who who life has made you out to be. Because you are a strong character. No one can just bully you, you know. No one can bulldoze you around, you know that. And maybe you respect that strength in yourself. Fair. But you're also blocking love from coming in. Mm. What needs to transform here? for you to evolve and grow. What needs to transform here in order to evolve and grow? Okay. We have Sagittarius energy. 9th house. So for me, this is about breaking free. No longer being a victim of this old narrative, because you still are affected by the pain that this mother figure has caused you, still to this day. And you just need to break free of that, have a higher perspective. And that causes you to, it's really painful to release the negativity. And in some ways, maybe you're afraid you'll lose a part of yourself in the process because you've held on to the negative for so long, right? And you've drawn strength from negative energy from so long, and that you've been used to using it as a defense. But staying fixated in that energy is not healthy for you, you know? And so maybe you ought to ask yourself, how do you want to live? You know, do you want to be more positive? Do you want to be able to let go and lay down these burdens and to feel more lighthearted and to feel good and to accept all of the good things that life does have to offer you? Or do you want to still bunker down or hunker down, whatever, and just hold on to these wounds and the negativity and act as if it's your only strength that you have to your name? You know, I don't think letting go is going to completely eliminate that. You know, that's years and years and years of operating that way. Like, I don't think that just goes away. So I don't think you're necessarily losing yourself in this process. But maybe you can think of it as, you know, another step, another layer, you know, that you can have or you have the potential to have. You know, that's growth. Okay, pull one more oracle and then I guess we're done here. Think of a question on your mind, and this might be the answer to it. That's the intention, at least. All right. We have octopus and we have scorpion in the challenge position. All right, I'll just take two. So I do feel like this is being at a crossroads. With the octopus, you're tired of operating the way you've been operating. Okay, and yes, you've shown yourself, you've shown others that you can multitask, that you can carry burdens on your back and the weight of this trauma and still be able to grind and push out results. Okay. You've done that already. And with the Scorpion energy, it's that defensiveness. Okay. You're weary from the journey. You're weary from the journey and you are due rest. Okay. You are due some kind of transition here, a new chapter, a new beginning. You are due happiness. I also don't know why, but I'm also hearing Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know if somebody here really loves you know, Ozzy or just that genre of music. Yeah. Anyways, no, that's kind of what I'm feeling here. All right. It's okay to let go. All right, V, you said you had a question. What's up? Also, I need more water. Grab some water here. I wanted to know if Sammy is serious about me or his next moves. Let's do the first one. Let's do the first question. Okay, Sammy. Sammy is sure serious about his studies, his career. That's for sure. It's something that I'm feeling. Is he serious like you? Like he's serious about his career, his studies? All right. Is Sammy serious about the... All right, Sammy. Sammy, are you serious about V? You're telling me this card here. This one here. This one. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse. Okay. We have the Death card. We have the Emperor in the reverse. We have the Ten of Wands in the reverse. And we have the Fool card. Okay. So, a lot of things going on here. For one, I want to say that I do feel like Sammy is a little afraid of this connection and where it's headed. He himself is really afraid of it. I think this is really new to him on some level, you know? Um, I don't know, this is, to me, is somebody that may not be naturally a romantic person. Like that just might not be his default setting. Maybe he'll show love through, you know, duty or acts of service instead of something more romantic, like planning, like um, you know, a date on the beach with like a picnic basket and some candles, you know, and under the stars. You know what I mean? Like that may not be. He may not even think of that. I think for him, this is such a new experience that it's really taking him off guard. And this is somebody that's not well acquainted with his emotions. And so he feels uneasy with all of these new feelings and not sure what they mean. And so there is a part of him that I'm feeling that is kind of pushing this away. It's kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to go hide, um, you know, hide in my books or whatever, or shut myself in my room. However, with the Fool card here, there's hope. I do feel like with the Fool card here, this is this feels like partnership to me. This is going at this together, going towards the unknown together. I feel like he hasn't truly had this eye-opening experience that, oh, this is love, you know, or you know, I just feel like it's almost as if the cart is coming before the horse, you know, and he's behind on figuring out what the heck is happening. And I feel like the cart is kind of just being driven by fate, being driven by the universe. And really, y'all are along for the ride. And of course, the person that embodies more of the feminine energy is the one that's usually further along in their spirituality, right? And can kind of see what this is more so than the masculine, or the person that embodies more of the masculine energy. I do want to clarify this Fool card as far as where this is headed. The Four of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, that's like the energy of off into the unknown, being nervous. Where this is headed, I don't know. Let's see where else here. The Tower. Yeah, I feel like this is more in a positive sense, not negative. Although I do know the Tower is seen as negative. But all it is really is sudden change or getting ready for drastic change. Um, I do feel like this person is part of your path. Okay. I'm not being shown currently where it's going, where it's going to lead. Maybe that's for purpose, right? Um, Maybe that's just part of the journey that you have to live out for yourself and part of your own karmic path. Everyone has one. Um, but I do feel like this is destined on some level. Whether it's because you guys have a lot to learn from each other and you guys spend a season together, or if this is something that could potentially be something more long term. There may be a crossroads here as well in the future. This possibly could lead to something long term, but maybe somebody here could make the decision to go down a different direction. Maybe priorities change, or maybe someone chooses, for instance, like to build their dream over love. But it's hard when, we want to know every step of the journey where this is headed. But what I'm feeling overall about this connection is this is something that's fated to experience in this life. That this is somebody that you have some kind of past life history with, past life karma with. And there is unfinished business here. This person feels familiar for a reason. This person's still asleep spiritually. But the feminine usually is the person that helps. Hello, Tower, wake them up. Tower. This is not where he thought this would go, you know? Let's see, anything else? Spirit, let's pull at least an advice card. We have gathered together your own community of support and love. Yes. Bottom of the deck, we have life lessons, acknowledge and release for renewal. Let go of worry for now. Embrace the ride. That's kind of what I'm hearing. I feel like this person was meant to also be a support system for you through this period in your life of learning and growing and learning a lot more about yourself. Specifically, this part of the journey, I feel like this person is supposed to be some kind of pillar of support for you. Okay. As you kind of grow into your own self. This is not meant to be a codependent type of relationship. All right. In fact, I do feel like you're meant to find a lot of your independence through this relationship and not constantly fear, what is the other person doing? Is this person pulling away? I feel like you're supposed to still focus on community here. Like, for instance, if this is like a school thing, this is like being involved in clubs, right? Trying new things, um, going to like those PEX classes or whatever they're called these days, you know. Um, that's what I'm feeling here. Okay, we have you never really loved me. Truth revealed, illness, illusion shattered, heartbreak. Okay. I feel like this is supposed to be a card that represents how he feels about you. I don't know, maybe on some level, both of you kind of feel this way. Maybe that's a block in the connection. Maybe for the both of you, but definitely for one of you. There's somebody here that he may not feel used to being, he may not know what to do with love, you know? He may not know how to receive it. Again, it's like a foreign feeling for him. And so he may not respond the way you expect him to, or maybe the way that you're used to other people responding, Um, yeah. And so I feel like that's one of the reasons why he throws himself in maybe books or other specific interests, maybe schools. Okay. But yeah, that's how I feel here. Okay, V. And then you may decide that, like, hey, that's not really my cup of tea. That's not really how I roll. Like, maybe I want somebody that's more romantic. Maybe this person can't really give me that, you're learning and growing as well. Like, you don't have to settle, right, for something that truly doesn't make you happy. Okay. You're welcome, love. Okay, guys, I am going to go and just take a little break here. I will probably be on later tonight to do the Saturnian relationships read. Kind of excited to get into that. I know I still have to post the rest of the readings that I've recently done on my channel for you guys to rewatch if you're interested. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.